Hello everyone, my name is AMIRABENABDELKADER. So today I'll be talking about e-tandems and how they create those learning opportunities among language learners who are at the same time users. So in here I will talk about the novice-expert relationship negotiation between those speakers. So, what is internet-mediated communication or online intercultural language exchanges? So first, there are many terminologies to refer to this kind of communication. There's tele-collaboration, e-tandem, e-pals, key-pals, etc. But for the appropriateness for language education and learning, there comes the term online intercultural exchanges, which as Odo put, is the activity of engaging language learners in interaction and collaborative project work with partners from other cultures through the use of online communication tools such as emails, video conferencing, and discussion forums. We should see why we learn through those mediums. Why should we learn from those exchanges, from communication? First, because language is social phenomena, and speakers are social actors. They make actions when speaking and using the language. And also there is a need for learners to have opportunities. And also there is this importance of collaborative learning that lies in developing learners' skills, especially higher order thinking skills. And there comes the famous ZPD, the Zone of Proximate Development of Vygotsky, and which insists on the mechanisms that help the learner develop their skills and competencies in order to switch from being totally dependent to being independent through the assistance of mediators or teachers or any expert or the parents, for instance. So in my study, this is my whole PhD project, but in this presentation, I will only focus on the exchange that's happening here on Skype. So I will be having two speakers, two language learners, and this is me, the researcher, and then whenever I give them the guidelines and the topics for the discussion, I turn off my mic and camera and let them speak while I'm recording and taking notes of their conversation. My participants are mainly from the UK, Belgium, France, and Algeria. And the topics they were given are basically about cultural aspects like family gatherings, punctuation in their countries or cultures, and many other stuff like also celebrations, how people introduce themselves in their cultures, etc. So these are the participants. I will be presenting their findings. So the first case is this dichotomy of novice and expert. But in this case, it's mainly about a hesitating novice and how this hesitation can provoke the expert. So in here, there is the example of Sonia and Gracie. So Sonia, she's Algerian, and Gracie, she's British. So they are talking about how parents, and especially mothers, are a little bit authoritative. But the word authoritative didn't come up in Sonia's repertoire at the moment. So she was hesitating, saying authoritarian, and then said like autoritaire. She used here French, and then she said it's authoritarian with a nose up, showing more emphasis on hesitation. And then Gracie, she was provoked here as an expert and said it's and said it's authoritative. What Sonia did is that she repeated the authoritative, checking whether she got it correctly. And then there comes the confirmation for Gracie. And both speakers, they are both novices and experts. So, and they are both collaborating in order to achieve meaning or understand each other. So there is kind of collective scaffolding. So in here, they were talking about pancakes, and then Sonia started asking, so, and you eat it with jam, I think. She said, you can have it like with butter or with jam or whatever, really. And then Sonia, she said, oh, yeah, I saw my flightmates eating them every morning. And then Gracie asked, have you tried Marmite? And then Sonia said, what's this? And then she was like calling Gracie to start the describing this thing. It was quite awkward for her to describe it, but then she started. It's like sort of made of yeast. And then again, Sonia is asking for more description, and then Gracie said, but it's sort of like a spread, but it's like black, basically like slightly browny, it's salty, and it's like a savory thing. So then Sonia remembered something. Oh, I know this. So do you mean marmite? And she said it in French. And then Gracie confirmed, yeah, it's marmite. So in here, they both know the same thing, but the difference is with the pronunciation. And in here, Sonia, in her retrospective report that comes after these conversations, she said that sometimes she used the word that she knows in French because it's the language by default that she knows. So whenever she found a linguistic token that's spelled the same way in English and French, she used her French repertoire to pronounce this. She used the phonological, the French phonological system in this case when they are spelled the same way. So then comes this assigned expert and novice roles. And here there is like a direct question, like they started the family gatherings talking about this topic, and then Elise, who is French, and Tanya, who is British. So Elise said, how do you spell gatherings? I don't know. So in here she is emphasizing being novice. I don't know. How do you spell it? I need your assistance. Tell me about it. And then Tanya, what she did, she started typing on Skype, and here she's using another communicative channel that exists on Skype. And then she texted her, and then Elise, she received it, and she said, well, I've never heard about of this word before. She's here emphasizing that she's a novice. She doesn't know what is gatherings, how it is spelled, or anything. So Tanya, she started then describing it's like special occasions like Christmas or birthdays, and then again, Elise said, oh, I've never heard of this word before, so, and then the conversation started. And there is here when they needed an outsider expert. So in here, both of them are novices, and none of them is an expert. So they were talking about university offers, and Sonia said, an offre, une offre. She was hesitating between the masculine or the feminine form. So, by the way, the translator, it's the interline translation here. So, the first line is the original in French, and the one beneath it in italics is the translation. So she used the indefinite article, the masculine indefinite article un, and then une. She was quite hesitating between the feminine and the masculine. And then Gracie started laughing. Oh, I thought you're the expert. Oh, how come you don't know this? And then Sonia acknowledged that it has always been a problem to find out whether to use the masculine one or the feminine un or une. And then Gracie said, ça me fait sentir très, je suis très contente quand tu fais des erreurs comme moi. Et donc, and after this, Sonia again acknowledged that it's a problem for her. And then what they did, so while Sonia started searching on the online dictionary, Gracie said, I think Amira writes to us whether it's an un or une, so whether it's masculine or feminine. And then Sonia, she got the answer. She said, well, it's une autre. It's a feminine. Conclusion here is that speakers rely on their shared plurilingual resources to achieve meaning-making, to clarify to their partners, and to signal the need for assistance or correction, like we've seen in autoritaire, marmite, and in other examples like also parade. The other thing, and this I should quote Holland Bauer, who emphasizes this, how the plurilingual dimension manifests itself will strongly depend on the constellation of speakers and resources. There are other instances where the participants use English, sometimes Spanish, when they know that their partner knows Spanish or has some Spanish repertoire. And to quote here Liddicoat and Tudini in 2013, they said the didactic voice adopted by the L1 speakers is inherently heteroglossic. That means in the sense that the identities of L1 speaker and non-L1 speaker with those of teacher and students, expert and novice, etc., which cast the L1 speaker in a position of dominance and the non-L1 speaker in one of subordination. So in here, there is a kind of fixedness in assigning those roles. However, as the findings show, there is this negotiation. The expert-novice roles and identities are negotiated in the interaction, and that also, besides the speaker, or in addition to those speakers, there are also outsiders who can play the role of expert, depending on the communication needs and context. Also, I can add that the status of the language of interaction for the speakers did not obstruct communication or hinder the speakers from creating learning opportunities. Like we've seen Sonia, who's Algerian, Shema, she's French, Louisa, British, and Tanya, British, and Gracie, British. So, and then Elise, she's French. So in those, there is a kind of diversity even in their backgrounds, like you've seen in the previous table of my sample. But there are still the same chances to create those opportunities. And in here, regarding the non-fixedness of those roles, Thorne and Hellerman put that sociocultural approaches de-emphasize the stability of systems and the presumption of consistency across contexts, time periods, individuals, and communities, including predefined characteristics such as expert and novice. And then, with or without L1 speakers, learners can learn, create learning opportunities, and are motivated to learn. My recommendations is that restricting the online intercultural language exchanges to some European languages and their L1 speakers marginalizes other languages and their speakers. And also partnerships between universities should take into account other unprivileged contexts and institutions. Here are my references for today. And these are my information if you'd like to contact me for further clarification or just to contact me. Thank you.